So I sometimes try to give my patron supporters a little bit of an extra bonus. And in this case, that comes in the form of having a few days lead knowledge of whatever the heck is going on with these. These are new Calvados Domfrontais bottlings from Spirits from the Source, the Bien Élevé folks. And why is that interesting? Well, okay. So Calvados Domfrontais, I'm not going to talk about you yet. Calvados Domfrontais is the pear-dominated region in Calvados. I love them. I think they're just some of the best spirits in the world right now. The last Spirits from the Source selections that they brought in were spectacular, the Paccaries. I think you can still buy some of them. So these are new, and they are Lemortons. And the second reason this is interesting, beyond just being, Spirits from the Source picks, is I have never, ever seen Lemorton Calvados presented so well. These are both cask strength, I think single cask offerings. So that is new. So why wouldn't you just go out and buy these darn things? Why would you wait? Well, they are unbelievably expensive now. The basic 98 here, the basic 98 here is like $250 or something. The 82, this is like $450. So what I have done is I've gotten in on a split to basically review these things for you before you go out and splash your cash on them. All right, so that's what we're going to do. And you patrons out there are going to get a first notice of this. So far as I can tell, when I wrote up my my stats on these things for my records, these were both still available. I don't know how long that's going to last, though. And just because I have it on hand, as a little warm up, we're gonna hit this as well. This is a Decadent Drams Calvados. It's a 30-year, almost as expensive. This is about €200. Let's get that poured, and we'll get the rest of these poured. So we're going to start with this guy, and I will tell you about it in a second. Oh, the room is going to smell so good. I love, love, love Calvados. Okay. And there we go. So, starting with the... We're just going to go in order of, I don't know, expensiveness, I guess. Starting with the Decadent Drams. So this was... I put this in the wrong order. This was distilled at the Domaine des Hauts Vents. And it's pot-distilled, which is a little bit interesting. It's because it's not... it's just marked as a kind of generic Calvados. But and so now pot distillation is allowed for that. You can use pot distillation or continuous distillation, but it's a little bit unusual to see. I don't know the pear and apple makeup of this, but it was a blend of the 1992 and 1994 vintages. And yeah, that's about all I know about it. 51.8% alcohol by volume. I'm going to have a sip of water. Let's get into this. On the nose. Very, very, very appley. Super appley. Not fresh apple, not dessert apple. This is like applesauce and a little bit of like cider apple. So like bitter apple, sour apple. A heck of a lot of French oak on this too. Black pepper. Black tea leaves. Kind of musty cellar. Also kind of like... I try to avoid the term petrichor because I think it's a little bit pretentious, even for me. And I'm here reviewing Calvados. But yeah, the smell of like range just started to fall. There's a little bit of that. Yeah. Lots of dried fruity stuff. Dried fig, prune. A little bit of dried, not peach, nectarine in here too. brown sugar, more tea leaves. Yeah, the apple is just gorgeous. There's some apple cheese in this. One of my all-time favorite Lithuanian things. But it's apple cheese made with honey. There's like a little bit of a heavy honey, like a summer honey note in this. It smells old. There's kind of some like old leather books kind of creeping in. Yeah, it smells like a glorious old Calva. That's about the best I can do. Very appley with a ton of French oak on the palate. A good Calva. Oh man, it's one of the most crushable categories out there. And this is a very good. This is a very good Calva, and it is very, very crushable. Oh, that's delicious. So inevitably, tons and tons of apple. Again, like mashed apple, apple sauce, dried apple, apple cheese, cider apple. All the apples. Quite a lot of tobacco as well. Different tobaccos. There's some Burleys. There's some Orientals. There's a little bit of natural leaf cigar. So yeah, interesting. There's still a little bit of a black teeth component on this, but a lot of that has transitioned over to tobacco territory. Black Cavendish as well. Fig, prune, black pepper. That kind of musty cellar / it just started raining kind of note. It's a hair bit short in the mouth. We're not quite hitting my tonsils on this. It's really rich, like right up to that point. All this is total palate domination, and it's delicious, and I love it. It's just it's a little bit short in the mouth length beyond what I was expecting. I'm imagining water will absolutely fix that, though. Yeah, I mean, it's 200 euros is not inexpensive for a session Calva, but still. Yum. Lots of apple, lots of tobacco, lots of French oak. I want just a little bit more. Finish is good. I want a little bit more length on the mouth length. All right, let's give that a squirt. Let's give it 2 squirts, actually. And we shall move on to the first of these very expensive, very compelling Lemortons. So this is the 1998. And this is the one here where I actually have a breakdown of the fruit. This is 70% heirloom pears and 30% heirloom apples. Distilled 1998 and bottled in May 25. And it is 58% ABV, but I'm still going to leave the 82 for the end because it's old and it's a birth year Calva for me. And if it's really good, I might actually buy one. Interesting. Estery is the word that kind of comes to mind. So there's when I taste Jamaican rum, particularly from Trelawney, that's got some high esters in it, I will talk about a note that is like rocky flowers or floral rocks, and this is doing that. Rocky flowers, but also like some Smarties candy, but it's like musty Smarties candy. It's very weird. Hold on, I'm trying to wrap my brain around this. So if you come to this looking for overt perry notes, I'm not really getting those. Doesn't smell like that. floral rocks, Smarties, and just like an insane, like not just a musty cellar, like an entire musty house. Like you soaked an entire house in like swamp water, and it's kind of, but you kind of enjoy it. Very, extremely like big on the white pepper as well. Very peppery. I'm trying to cut into this. There's a... Honestly, like, it's hard to cut through the cloud of, like, floral rocks and, estery stuff, Smarties. There's some gummy bears in there? What is, what kind of gummy bears? Maybe, okay, so maybe like some lemon gummy bears, the little yellow ones, but also some, if there were like Perry gummy bears, there's a little bit of that, but it's not really pear, it's like a candied pear, but in the context of a really musty house. That's about the best I can do with this. I'm imagining water will open this right out, but we shall see. On the palate, thought-provoking. This is not what I expected it to be. I mean, so I remember with some of the packeries I had from that these folks picked. The 04 in particular was starting to leave like pure primary fruit components. The stuff that the Decadent Drams here is doing, actually, it was starting to leave those things in the dust and sort of take off into crazy town. And this on the palate has definitely gone into crazy town, but I don't think it's actually the better for it. Lots of flowers, tons of flowers, very floral. Rocks, all the musty furniture, all the musty stuff. Black pepper. Tobacco in this as well, but also tea leaves, mix of tea leaves. Leading Darjeeling. Tobaccos, we're really on like stoved Virginias with this. Smarties, rocks, more rocks. There's a burst of some kind of fruitiness right on the arrival. What is that? And then there's some ashiness to this on the mid palate going into the finish. Yeah, you get a kind of like fruit cup component on the front, or imagine like you just mashed up a fruit cup on the front end of this. There's maybe some pear in there, but there's also some like, I don't know, some pineapple, some different stuff, some citrus in there. Hard to kind of nail down, and it's really just there on the first couple of moments of the arrival, and then it kind of disappears to be replaced by lots of flowers and all the other stuff I've been mentioning. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of this. I'm really fascinated by it. Super duper, like, interesting. I just don't know if I would spend $250 on it. I really wish, like, you watching this, especially if you're paying me, I really wish you could just sit down and try this, because it's a very, very compelling, interesting profile. I'm going to give this a squirt of water, or 2 or 3, maybe 4, and we'll see what it does. I'm going to go a little more. I'm going to go another half squirt. Okay. Let's move on. It's the 82. I mean, really interesting. I mean, I'm going to come back to this, but it's really something. If you have money coming out of your ears, if you're like super rich and you can't feel anything anymore, you know what I'm talking about? Like, you know, you pay for extreme experiences. Like you're that person, that movie character. You may want to grab one of these because it's just so different. It's certainly giving me feelings and thoughts. It's very, very different from anything else I've tasted in a while. I mean, the closest point of reference would be like Trelawney High Ester Rum, but it's packaged in a way, it delivers what it's got in a way that is very, very different from that. Anyways, let's try this 82. This, I don't have a fruit breakdown, but it is apparently still majority pear. Column distilled, I believe, in a short column. 1982 vintage, bottled in May 25. 102 bottles of this, 52% ABV, 450 bones. And yes, I paid for these samples myself because I love all y'all, and I want you to know about these on the nose. Okay, smells old. It's the first. I mean, there's a way where spirits that are 40 plus years old really start to converge on a common profile. This is really, we're in that common profile. Old furniture, cigar box, black pepper. There's some cinnamon cardamom happening. Fruit, I'm getting that kind of like fruit cup mashup that I was talking about in the previous one. Floral rocks again. Okay, there is some like apple cheese coming through now. Maybe some pear cheese as well. Hard to nail down. So yeah, in some ways we're on a more conventional spectrum with this than the 98. Okay. But yeah, it smells old. If you've had like old French spirits before, like you gotta know these notes. Would I be able to nail down apple or Calvados as a region if I was just handed a glass of this? I might get to it eventually, but it's not the first thing I would think. It's not screaming apple at me. On the palate. Let it be known, I do not think this is worth $450. Good old spirit. Really, like, you want cigar box and just chewing on cigars? Here you go. Black pepper. Here you go. Different kinds of old tobacco, like old Balkan Sobrani, if you wanted to age that stuff. Here you go. Prunes, ash. Actually, it does do that same kind of fruit cup thing on the arrival of this for those first few moments as the 98. It's just then it transitions not so much into the weirdness of that what this thing was doing, but into a much more conventional kind of old spirit kind of profile with a little bit of apple, pear, quince kind of thing holding on into the mid palate and into the finish. Oh, and there's a little bit of that kind of floral rocks thing. Smarties. Not so much though. A little bit of a sour oak thing as well. Musty cellar. I mean, this is it's a grand old French brandy. Like that's what it tastes like. delicious, fine. I'm not in love, and I wouldn't pay the asking price for a full bottle. Not angry though. So I'm going to give this a squirt of water or two, and we'll come back to this as well. God almighty, the Decadent Drams might win this. Okay. Let's give these some scores. Back to the DD. 30-year-old. Oh. Primary fruit. Yes. Yeah, I mean, coming back to this after these two, it feels a little bit like coming home. And it's just like, oh, apple. I remember what apples smell like. I know what this is. If anything, the apple becomes even more bright. You get a little bit of like a Granny Smith sour apple kind of thing coming out. You still have that musty character. The different layers of apple that I talked about before. It's just a little bit brighter, a little bit less. Maybe the pepper pulls back a little bit, which is unusual. Usually the pepper comes out more with water. Not in this case, it's the apple. Nice on the palate. Oh. So the mouth length problem I was talking about, that is solved. We are now getting back into my lungs a little bit. That's nice. The pepper that wasn't so much happening in the nose, that has come right out in the palate. This is very peppery, but there's also that kind of Granny Smith sour happening in there. Got some more leather going on. It's very chewy. It's very textured. Got your tea leaves, you got your tobaccos. It's really crushable too. I mean, this is a darn nice Calva. And we're not getting to the 90s with this. It isn't, beyond perfection by any means, but it's just hard to knock it. We got some sweet, we got some fruity, we got some sours, bitters. There's even a little bit of like an umami thing, a little mushroom on the finish of this. Just a darn good Calva. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. I can't get 90. Can I do an 89? No, I'll call this an 88 plus. We'll call this an 88. No, I'm being a Scrooge. The palate on this steps up a lot with water. It was already pretty good, so let's call this an 89. 89 points out of 100. That might win this, actually, assuming the Lemortons kind of hold position. But let's see what we got. I believe in Pear Power. I believe in Domfrontais. It's one of my all-time favorite nerdy spirit categories. Let's see what we got. This is the 98. Oh, and the fruit comes right on out. So, if you bought this and you were disappointed at the lack of primary fruit, the weird austerity of this on first contact, throw some water in. It comes out. Yeah, we're getting some. I mean, majority ripe pear, you took a pear that you'd been holding on to for a week after you bought it from the grocery store, and you just can kind of just crush in your hand. Yeah, there's that. The floral rocks are still there. Some of the kind of musty stuff is still there. The Smarties are still there. Yeah, I would say it's not as weird. I'm not as it's not firing my brain cells as much as it was neat. It's a little bit more normal now. I'm not sure if that's a bad thing. Like the nose just feels like a more complete animal with water on the palate. Better with water. So maybe if you are a weird billionaire who can't feel anything anymore, maybe you shouldn't buy this. Because if you add a little bit of water, it does become a kind of a quasi-normal spirit again. Well, hold on. I mean, you are still getting that kind of halo of rocks and flowers. Some of those weirder characteristics, but the Smarties are in there. But, yeah, you got some apple pear compote happening. Black pepper, black tea, some nice French oaky stuff happening. Fig, pear cheese, apple cheese. Yeah, it's good. I just don't think it's beating the DD, the Decadent Drams. Good texture. I mean, so the funny thing is, I think the Decadent Drams is beating this on mouth on mouth presence, particularly texture. Both these step up the water. In my opinion, the Lemorton 98 even steps up a little bit more. But this is just such a complete spirit, the Decadent Drams. Whereas there's complexity, there's power, but it's not tickling the sides of my mouth as much. The length is a little bit shorter. It is a step up, though. I'll call this an 88. 88 flat. Good Calva, not worth $250. But let's see what happens with the 82, because this is, I mean, the price of the previous two is about the same as the price of this. So now that, especially now that I've added water, it needs to show up on the nose. Yeah, nose is about the same, honestly. Like, we're just in old French brandy territory, old spirit territory, with leaning more towards the apple pear spectrum. It's nice. You know what? I'm going to amend my grade on that. I'm going to put a caution symbol on this 98, because you really need to. It's a little weird. You have to give it some water. You have to be patient with it. It's a little weird. Sorry, back to the 82. I don't know what to say about the nose. It smells, leathery, tobacco-y. It's got all the stuff you expect in an old French spirit. Sour pear. This might not win. This may not even come in second. Even with the addition of water, not a whole lot of change of profile. Not anywhere near the same change of profile as the previous two. Lots of French oak, a little bit of color from the apple and pear. That's pretty much what you got here. Solid mouth presence, not a ton of length. Finishes, the fruit hangs on, but not as long as I'd like. And a lot of it is just like, oaky structural stuff. I'm not saying this is bad. This is good. It's a very good spirit, but I don't think it's winning against the previous two. It's just kind of holding steady from where it was, honestly, the first round through. It's a very nice old spirit, and if you're like me and you're looking for at birth year bottles, and these things get progressively more expensive, $4.50 isn't the worst you can do, but I don't think I would. I think this is an 87. Oh, look, we have a nice little order here. 87 point Calva. Good. It's good. That's a good score, but it's not. I wouldn't spend the money on it. So there you are. It's kind of the story of water just improving a bunch of these and not the other one. For me, I had the 98 kind of in with the L going into round 2, but it just becomes so much more approachable with a splash of water. Yeah, with water, this hopped like, I don't know, 2 points or so for me. Like, we were in 85, 86 territory. Interesting, but not amazing. And now it's like, this is pretty good. I like this. And yet the Decadent Drams wins. And that breaks my heart a little bit, because I want the Domfrontais to win these. No, it's just the better spirit, in my humble opinion. So yeah, there you go. Lemorton 1982, 87 out of 100. Certainly not bad by any means. Just not what I was hoping for $450. Lemorton 1988, 88 caution. You do be aware of what you're getting in with this. It's very weird, very austere on first contact. Water helps to kind of make it approachable. I suspect time in the bottle or time in the glass would also do the same thing. But your winner, the Decadent Drams, the thing I just brought in what is the jobber. I brought this in as jobber. This is the one that wins. 89 friggin' points. Also one that steps up with water. Thanks for watching, and cheers.